Welcome back. You're watching Rise and Shine, and it is the segment to introduce you to a wonderful personality, an iron lady, so to say, with all due respect. She's done marvelous things. She's been a career woman. She's been, a person who has been fighting for a woman to become a better woman, to bring up those core values, to live in integrity, to live in dignity, and to stand up for what is right. She has put down an amazing book as well, and we are here to talk about the revolution of this amazing her own amazing life story of having dark skin and be facing many situations in the society, and of course from motherhood, from womanhood to motherhood, the transitions from there as well. It's going to be one interesting chat with this amazing lady. Please welcome with us this morning we have Sandhya Salgadu, who is the former CEO at Ogilvy Action and communication specialist for World Bank, and who is also a board director of Ceylon Bank. Sandhya, very good morning to you. And thank you so much for joining on the show. Hiroshi, I'm sure you must be loaded with questions because we're talking on a topic which is, and you were going through the book and you were like fascinated.
I was very fascinated. Actually, there's a lot of interesting pictorials going on as well. But I would just like to know from the very first question, was there any specific circumstance that led you to actually pen it into paper?
Well, I'm a very impulsive person. So I just decided one day I have to put down my life, my journey, because I felt that I had to share the amazing journey I have had for 30 years in the advertising industry, as a career woman, as a mother, as a wife, multitasking. So I just sat down and wrote.
That's true. And not just my good karma is the topic. So there is a little bit of a realism. There's a little bit of gravity in this theme that you've chosen. So I'm pretty sure the components highlight the certain challenges, the barriers that you had to overcome. How has the journey been so far overall?
So the journey has been awesome. I loved every moment of my life up to now. Lots of learnings, lots of challenges. But the joy was really overcoming each of those. So
let's talk about the very beginning, where you start from Panadura as a little kid, born and raised there. The family background, how much that evolves in putting up a product like you. Then coming into the school life, all the the harassment, public transportation, things like that, what you have to undergo. Then coming to a career life back at that time, how women were treated in offices, and how you overcome things like that. In a nutshell, shall we just start from there, from the beginning, and just proceed as we progress?
So I was raised by, I think, two amazing women, my Archie, my grandmother, and my mother, who did not restrict us, none of us, about anything. They just gave us wings to fly. They never clipped our wings. And they constantly encouraged and cheered from the sidelines. Of course, they guided us. They showed us by example what was right and wrong. And we just imbibed. And we were very, very free to do whatever we want, mix with boys. There was no gender stereotyping. So I never had a doll in my life. I was always on a bicycle in a pair of shorts playing cricket with the boys. So as a result, I don't have any inhibitions in dealing with men and being I don't think my male friends ever treat me like a female. So they don't have any problem with that. I don't have a problem with that either. So it's like machang.
I can imagine.
So I
would like to interrupt there and ask you this question. You said your wings were never clipped. You had all the freedom, but looking then and looking now, with all these advancements in systems, in IT, in social media, do you think that we could adhere to the same principles as your parents and your Archie did in the modern society with children nowadays? Do you think that is possible? What is your take on that?
Well, when I see the young mothers who are completely paranoid, I kind of wonder whether it's true paranoia or whether it's self-inflicted paranoia, because I just feel a child should be let out. You know, they just don't send children by bus. I know there are issues, but I think the more you protect them and bring them up in a bubble, the minute the bubble bursts, they are just helpless. So I just feel that whilst things have changed, a little bit more of freedom and being less fearful of your child, being too protective, could make your child, you know, vulnerable. You don't give him or her enough courage to face the world boldly, because they'll always want a crutch in your parents or somebody. So I'm still of the view that you should let your children go.
Okay.
Explore.
Let's get back to where we stopped, where Machang. So you were basically a character full of life, full of energy, and probably get into a fight with the boys.
All the time.
Yes.
All the time.
Which I would like to add to, actually. Even I went to a girls-only school, and I still remember when I started university, I was so intimidated when I see boys, and it's just a very natural factor, I guess. How important is it for us to not be caged into social constructs like, you know, being gender segregation, like things like that? How important is it to kind of fight this concept in the current world?
So let's go to the university, right? I went to Kelaniya, and I was not ragged. And why? Because the guys later told me they didn't realize I was a fresher, because I was walking alone, looking very confident, which freshers don't do, and they didn't really corner me or
they didn't spot you.
They didn't spot me as a fresher who was scared. So I was never ragged. So I don't know why, but I haven't had any of those problems. I mean, I just know how to deal with it. It's not like, you know, it's not like men don't hit on you, but they do. But it's all about how you manage them. I just joke around and tell them off. So that's it.
On the contrary, the woman species is very a very vulnerable creature. You know, gets frightened and gets you know, they always think, the culture always thinks that the male is the dominant species, and you know, you have to always adhere or bow down, or when it's a marriage relationship, it's you know, you have to always be under the governance of the husband. When you go to office, it's a male dominated environment, and you know, office harassment, verbal harassment, even extending to various other types of harassment. How do you tackle these things in your book? I'm sure you pen down them as well.
Well, to begin with, I have never experienced harassment. I have never felt inferior as a woman in that sense, because nobody made me feel that, or at least I didn't make anybody. I didn't let anybody make me feel like that. So I don't really have too many experiences. The only thing that I felt was when I was at Ogilvy, I just felt that there was a white boys club in the region. That was the only time, and I used to always tell them, you know, you guys just want the white boys to come to the region.
And they even have an accent of their own.
Yes. So I would just, you know, confront them and tell them, and they would say, no, are you crazy? But I'm like, no, you do. So that was all in jest. But so I never experienced glass ceiling, slippery floor. So you could call me lucky, or you could say that I just did it my way.
Attitude.
And by emphasizing the fact that it's your decision to kind of move forward.
Yeah.
Do you think, even in this current context, do you think there are environmental circumstances that are restricting women, or is it themselves
I
restricting?
think the women restrict themselves.
Most of the times it's self-inflicted.
Yes. That is, I mean, I may be completely wrong, but when I watch what happens in the society. I see within my larger family how they put boundaries for themselves. So whose fault is that? I'm not a woman activist or anything like that. I hate that word. But I just feel that we have so much in us, we don't take advantage or exploit what is possible for us to do. So it's no point pointing fingers at men.
That's true.
So I'm not one of those male bashers.
And also, you know, uplifting women and bringing down men are two very different things.
Of course, yes.
Sandhya, I'm sure your theories, your attitude among this entire subject is so positive. As a communications specialist to the World Bank, and as a person who wants to send this message to the generation, to the woman, you know, you can be like this. You don't have to look at me. I'm a classic example. Why don't you come out of your shell and, you know, explore the world in your own way, you know, stretch your wings and just fly. What have you done? Is there any program that you conduct? Apart from the book, you know, giving them that knowledge, is there anything that you do to support the generation?
Well, the thing is, I do a lot of counseling, not formally but informally. Lots of friends send their kids to me, and whenever I get an opportunity, I talk to students in universities, in schools. People just tell me, can you come and talk to them? So I do that voluntarily. But when I started Ogilvy, I had my other family, that was my second family, where I had like hundreds or even thousands of young people from the rural Sri Lanka who I mentored and trained and, you know, gave them wings. So, yeah, and I continue to do that.
Let's get back to the book.
That's right.
Sandhya, who needs to, you know, get a hold of this book, and what type of message are you giving from this book, and mainly who are you targeting in this book?
Yeah, so I'm mainly targeting females, young females, who are either married with children or not married to be married, or homemakers who run around their children and do nothing else in life. So I don't say that what I did is perfectly right, but I'm giving some examples of things I actually did. So it's not preaching, it's saying I did it this way and it worked for me. Maybe you could try as well. So I really want this book to go to the hands of as many young women and men if possible, as much as I could. That is the whole purpose, because I wrote it with a purpose, because I didn't want to keep all my experiences to myself. I wanted to just put it out there, and I'm happy to talk about it. I'm happy to, you know, answer questions. I'm happy to engage with anybody based on the book or outside, just on a voluntary basis, because I feel we have to just give back.
You suppose the husbands won't be looking for you with a pole behind?
Well, I have the best husband any woman can.
And it worked with him, and I'm sure it's going to work in the book as well.
Sorry, I didn't get you. So I met my husband when I was 15 years. So he's been my life partner and my rock. So without him, I think I'm nobody. So I'm not taking all the credit for myself. So it's my parents, it's my husband, it's my sons. I have 2 sons who have supported and appreciated what I did. It was a tough journey, but you know, that's the fun part.
So it's basically everything that you learned from the 30 years as a mother, as a person growing up, as a parent, with 2 children and with a fabulous husband, all that is penned down there.
Yes.
To give you an idea of what exactly you can be, to stretch out your wings and, you know, explore the world. Am I right? Something you want to add something to that?
No, it's basically what I've gone through, and it's absolutely candid, maybe too candid in some places, but what the hell? I mean, you know.
Yeah, that's true. Explore yourself. And may we know, since we do have an audience engaged with us, would you mind telling us where exactly we can get access to this book?
Yeah, so most of the bookshops in Colombo, like Barefoot, Vijayappa, Sarasavi, Shilpi, Expo, graphics in Palavatta, Candy, Sarasavi, yeah, and Shilpi, sorry, Celine, Kalaya. So I think it's available in as many places as possible to lay your hands on.
Yes, and on the final note, is there anything that you would like to tell to the women who are with us right now?
Yeah, so basically be yourself, make use of what a woman really has, because a woman is a multitasker, and there is so much within a woman that maybe you haven't really fathomed. So just go out there and do what you think your heart says, and not what is expected by the society, because society always clips your wings. Just fly away.
There we are with that message. Are you clapping?
No, I'm just saying it's time for us to fly away too.
Okay, I mean it deserves a round of applause. And Sandhya, thank you so much. The amazing thing that you have done, you know, with all your work as a career woman, you know, as a consultant to the World Bank, and sitting on the board of directors for Ceylon Bank. It's amazing that you find time to go out of your way and pen down a book like this. I'm sure it would have been a life dream come true for you, to help and to, you know, through experience, through what you've gone through and what it has worked. It has worked. Look at this amazing lady, a successful career woman, a mother, a great wife. It has worked, and I'm sure if you get a hold of this book, there'll be a wealth of knowledge for you as well as to how you can get around on your day-to-day life. So make sure that you grab one of them. You know where to find it. You know where it's available. With a thank you to Sandhya Salgadu, former CEO at Ogilvy Action and communications specialist for the World Bank and board member of Ceylon Bank. It's time for us to leave. Until we meet again on yet another Rise and Shine, you have a wonderful rest of the day. Bye-bye and God bless you.
Take care.